We good?
Should be.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I got some
want this to be the sleekest setup possible.
got some banana bread at work today, dude.
You did?
Hell yeah. My mom said I should wait for things. And fucking I waited for some things. And I got some banana bread at work today, dude.
Are you referencing something?
Hell yeah. Yeah, have you not seen that video?
No.
This guy's getting in his car and he literally got banana bread at work today, dude.
That's amazing.
Hell yeah. And his mom told him he should wait for things and good things will happen. And he waited for some things. And he got some banana bread at work today, dude.
Is this like an old YouTube
Hell
video?
yeah.
But
there's a lot of not good things in this world. Like fucking skunks, dude. Hell no. And he gets like progressively more and more worked up.
Is it like a YouTube video thing?
Yeah.
Oh. I was at work the other day and somebody
Did you get banana bread at work?
No, but somebody did reference Chocolate Rain.
Oh, wow.
And none of the old people that I work with knew what it was.
Whoa.
There was a guy that was like, Chocolate Rain. And they all were like, oh, that guy's so weird. And like, what is he even talking about? And I was like, he's talking about like arguably the first viral video ever. And none of you dinosaurs know how to change our conference room TV from HDMI 1 to HDMI 2. So you don't know anything about anything.
It's not the first viral video. It was for a while ago.
It was like pretty close. Are you a documentary person? I feel like I ask you this a lot, and I never remember.
I do like documentaries. I don't watch them very often.
Oh.
But Chocolate Rain was not one of the first viral videos.
There is a documentary that's out right now about a guy who is like a nightmare on YouTube. He's just like a bad dude, and the documentary is about him being a bad dude, and they dissect a lot of like the first like viral videos that were out on YouTube, and it like is so nostalgic.
Yeah.
Somebody brings up that OK Go treadmill music video thing. Somebody else talks about like the evolution of dance, and it's that guy. I was like, wow, what a time.
Leroy Jenkins. You ever see that one, the World of Warcraft video?
Oh my God, yeah. So, literally so good. And I remember, and I'm sure you did this too at different points, like the vibe of like the group sleepover.
Yes.
And it's like, I saw a funny video on YouTube and someone's like, okay, it's my turn to show you a funny, and everyone's like in your friend's computer room, like looking at the computer and just being like, oh, I have a cool YouTube video to show you.
100%.
I miss those days.
Yeah.
I miss those days when that was all I had to worry about in my life. Also, the other day, my sister and I were talking about the perfect conditions for napping and like what needs to be the vibe in the room or whatever, or in your life in order to take a nap. The hardest nap, the fattest nap I've ever taken was in the 6th grade. No, the 7th grade. And it was after we took TCAV, the Tennessee something of assessment of performance or something. I don't ever notice it for, but it's like our state standardized testing.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't do anything after. You weren't allowed to read. At least when I took them, you weren't allowed to read. You weren't allowed to do literally anything. You just had to sit there and review your answers if you wanted to. And if you didn't, you could raise your hand. Your teacher would come get your stuff and then like leave you alone. And I would take a nap after like the English section or whatever. And it's like the school air conditioned white noise, the like soft humming of the fluorescent lights, how freezing cold it was always in a school for some reason.
Perfect nap.
Like drooling on my desk. Perfect nap. And sometimes when I'm trying to take a nap in real life, which isn't very often because I hate taking naps, I think about that. I'm like, I just need like the sound of a middle school fan in the background.
Yeah.
So anyway. Also, happy Mother's Day to anyone who's watching. Happy Mother's Day to me. I don't have any children, but I have parented several men who were old enough to know better. So I'm expecting a happy Mother's Day from a few of you, and you know who you are, and I know you're watching. Jeez.
Oh, shit. That's funny.
Thank you. Welcome back to the Pyramid, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. My name is Amanda, and I'm your host every single freaking week, except for the weeks that I'm not.
And I'm Eli, the dipshit participation trophy of co-hosts. Back to the role of co-host this week.
Thank fuck. You're so sickly, too.
Yeah, Eli, I could not do this week.
No, you usually will go like the off-screen sounds all the time. Or off-mic sounds all the time. But you sound ill, bruh.
A little.
That sucks.
I'm on my way out of it. I feel fine.
It's them seasonal allergies, dog.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm
getting
my ass kicked.
Also, have you been hearing the cicadas?
No.
They are... You haven't been hearing the cicadas at all?
Not a one.
What?
Not a one.
Oh, okay. Well, then, damn. Never mind. I hear
A
them
lot of
here.
people have.
Yeah. You haven't like seen them or heard them? They're like
No.
outside screaming.
Nope.
Are you kidding?
I'm not messing with you. I've seen so many videos.
Okay, they're everywhere. I don't know how you've avoided them.
I
They're
have
literally everywhere.
Zero.
Well, I went to a park with a couple of my friends a couple days ago, and they are, I'm not kidding, like the size of someone's finger. It's so gross. And they don't do anything. They're these bugs that hibernate for like, what is it, like 13 years. And then they like reappear and like, procreate and then lay eggs and then disappear for 13 more years. And every 13 years we get this like resurgence of screaming bugs. And they're enormous, and they have these beady little eyes, and they're
creepy.
They don't do any, like, they don't bite or sting or like do anything like that. And like I looked them up because I was like, why are they literally still in circulation, and why has evolution not taken them out already? And they like help trees and stuff, and they do plant stuff. I don't know, but it's really annoying, and they're so loud and giant, and they fly around, and they're really fucking ugly.
Yeah, they
and
scream.
yeah, this is the 13th year. This is the time for them to come back up to the surface, and it's so fucking gross.
Total subject change, but before we get into the anything else, I would like to offer a bit of clarification from the last episode.
Okay.
The term whorephobia is not slut shaming.
Right.
It is specifically, like I alluded that it might be that. I was like, oh, it's kind of like
not
slut
slut
shaming.
shaming?
It's not that. It is, in fact, a term used by sex workers to refer to harassment about being a sex worker.
Okay.
And that includes anyone from being maybe like an erotic dancer,
Sure,
or someone who creates
an
content on OnlyFans, or an adult film star, or whatever else, a full service sex worker, whatever.
Sure.
Whorephobia is just like shaming,
like derogatory.
That yes, it's harassment about being a sex worker.
Oh, not just about like being a woman who sleeps with multiple people.
No.
It's specifically, it's sex work specific.
It's about yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, gotcha. Did we get corrected on that?
Yes,
Did you get your ass handed to you?
No. I was listening to the episode back, and I was just like, that I don't think is right. Or like
you collected yourself?
I want to double check, because sometimes I just like say shit, and then I like will hear it back and go, oh, well, that wasn't good.
I've said this before, but yeah, I forget people listen to this all the time, and then someone will correct me, or I'll listen back, and I'm like, why the fuck did I say that? That was so wrong.
And so you can read more about whorephobia at rainbow-project.org.
Slay.
Look up the Rainbow Project. They are an organization that is fighting on behalf of like the LGBTQ plus community. I keep hitting your microphone. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But they also have a bit on whorephobia as well.
Nice.
So
that's good to know.
learn more about it.
So it's not, slut shaming is like a cultural thing, and whorephobia is like a profession thing.
Correct.
Okay, that's good to know. I had literally never heard that word until you brought it up.
It was relatively new to me as well, but I'm doing my best to expand my horizons and learn a bunch. Yeah, I do what I can.
You're trying. That's really all that matters, is that you're trying.
The bar's on the floor, but I'm attempting to clear it.
The bar's on the floor, and men trip over it and then blame women for putting it on the floor. Being like, you should have known I was going to trip over that. And I'm like, damn, you're right. Yeah. Eli, you want to talk about your pyramid of life,
I do.
Son? What's on the bottom?
Starting at the bottom. I am congested and have been for a literal week now. This is stupid. I feel fine, but
Congestiana. You are struggling.
Yeah,
Congestiana Dupree.
It's just dumb. I didn't
Yeah.
have to deal with allergies for like the first, 25 years of my life.
Oh, really? You never had them?
Never had it.
Oh, I've had them bad my literal entire life.
I think we've talked about this before, but and now I get hit like a fucking truck.
Yeah. Twice a year or just once?
A couple times a year, yeah.
I used to get them really bad when it was like going into spring and then going into winter.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's like those two seasonal shifts.
I just get the shit kicked out of me, and that's happening right now, and I don't like it. I've been on this earth for almost 34 years. How has my body not figured it out?
Yeah, for real. Why did we just decide we're allergic? We did not have this allergy for 30 years. How did we just decide we were allergic to literally the air? P.S.
Yeah.
But seasonal allergies in the South, it's just like you're allergic to the pollen that's floating around in the air. Yeah. It's like, oh, take a deep breath outside. Loser, hold this fat L while you try to breathe in through your nose, bitch.
Yep.
It sucks.
You're not going to sleep well for the next 7 to 10 days, idiot.
And you have to sleep kind of sitting up because if you sleep like all the way laying down, all the pressure goes into your eyeballs, and then I start coughing.
Snore like a wildebeest.
Not fun. Really not fun.
I don't know if wildebeest snore, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's the effect. The bottom of my pyramid is sort of about getting the shit kicked out of you. I've been traveling like a little bit here and there for work. And sometimes I'm like a boss on like an airplane. And I'm literally crushing it. I feel like so rich and so cool. And I get to travel for work and blah, 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 whatever. I was on a literal 1 hour plane ride from North Carolina to back home a couple days ago. And I felt like so sick. And I wasn't motion sick. It's just like, I think it's the combination of being tired. Because it usually happens when I'm coming home. It's like doing whatever job I was doing. And then like being on a plane and like sitting at a gate and trying to get food and like all that kind of stuff. And getting on the plane and feeling sick. And then everyone on the plane wants to stand up immediately after it's landed. And it's like, you sons of bitches, we are not getting off of this MFing plane for a minute. Like, that's just how it goes. Like, the common courtesy and, like, probably a rule is that you have to get, like, the front people off first. Then, like, you know, it goes row by row. So if I'm in the back, what the fuck is the point of me standing up and running to the front? I'm going to let the other people off in front of me. I think that's kind of the rule. So,
yes.
Like, what's the point? And
also,
then I'm like,
you're literally
like
in
this,
line.
Like, yeah. I'm literally like scrunched up like this, like trying not to put my elbow inside of someone's ass. And then like someone over here is like drooling on me and falling asleep. And I'm just sitting here like, I fucking hate this shit. I want to go home.
Yeah.
So,
the lack of common courtesy.
For real.
Just the sweaty, unwashed masses that line up, like get up and try and move forward on an airplane.
I hate it.
I've stood up and blocked people off. Sam did it last time he and I were on an airplane.
Good for Sam.
Yeah, I forget where we were flying back from, but
Denver, probably.
He had the aisle seat. He stood up and just got in the middle of the aisle and stood there. Just stood there because a mom was trying to get her young kid off the airplane. No.
Yes.
I don't care that you have a kid. The rules apply to you.
Oh, damn. I was going to go the
all.
opposite way.
No.
I was going to say if you're a mom and you have a kid who's screaming, you get to get off first.
No, the kid wasn't screaming. She just had a kid.
How old was the kid?
I had 10.
Oh, okay. I think you meant like a 2-year-old. And I was like, that's
I also brutal. Don't care about
that. Oh, my God.
Okay, you had a child. That's your fault.
That doesn't not make you, always.
That
not
doesn't make you
children
special.
Of their own free will.
It
king of the feminists.
Okay, that doesn't make you special. Having a child does not make you special. That doesn't mean there are exceptions to rules for you. You don't get to get off an airplane first. Wait your turn.
Jesus Christ. Okay,
Sam was boxing her ass out.
That's hilarious.
Good.
What is the middle of your pyramid? You sickly little dog. What is
the other bottom is people that try and rush the front of the plane to get off early.
Yes. Those people suck.
Jesus Christ. The middle of my pyramid is Mother's Day. Because I haven't spoken to my mother in literally years.
You're right. You got the
It's been a long time.
Yes.
But I have lots of great mother figures in my life, and I appreciate a day that is to celebrate them. Mm-hmm. I made sure to text my stepmom and my cousin Helene, who is, I think she's almost 60 now. She might be 60. Anyway, but the mother figures in my life. Yeah. I have several friends that are moms. Shout out to y'all.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Parent holidays are always kind of weird. Even if you have a good relationship with your parents, like it like my affection and like my care and whatever for my mom, expressing it to her in like a Hallmark greeting card one day a year feels really cheap. I think this was one of my first bottoms of the pyramid was I was writing my sister a birthday card. And it's like, that's so weird.
That's not how my family does it either, especially with my dad. Oh my God, Father's Day and his birthday.
And like Father's Day, my mom's birthday is always around Mother's Day because it's in May, and my dad's birthday is always around Father's Day because it's in June. So it's like the other 363 days, I express my love for them constantly. But like when it comes down to like, okay, time to talk about how much you love your mom, I'm like, love you. Thanks for all you do for me. It's just cheap and weird.
It does feel cheap, yes. Yeah. Some people love it and are good at it, and that's great.
Yeah.
But I am not. Whenever I have to, like, show gratitude or whatever,
it's weird.
It's just weird.
It's always weird. Yeah, it's always weird. Mine is also, we're like really vibing because mine is also Mother's Day themed. My mom really, really likes like sour lemon flavored things. And so for Mother's Day today, I made lemon rolls that are, instead of cinnamon, it's lemon, but it's like cream cheese. Do you want one?
Do you have an extra one?
Yeah, I can. Yes. We can eat one later. It's so fucking good. And they're sour-ish, but also sweet. It's like buttercream frosting.
Oh, yeah.
However, it's in the middle. It's in the middle because they were literally so good. But it took me 3 hours to make them this morning because I made the dough from scratch.
Oh, God,
so I had to get like yeast and like activate it, and I had to get like flour and roll that shit out. And then when you're making cinnamon rolls, you have to spread all of like the schmear in, like roll out the dough, roll it out, whatever, spread all the stuff, roll it up like this. And then you have to take unflavored dental floss and like scoot it under and cross it and go like this so it cuts off a roll. Oh. So I was in the thick of it in my kitchen this morning.
You're doing the thing.
Yes, and I read the recipe like 3 or 4 times like over the last couple of days to like lock in and mentally prep because I knew it was going to take forever.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of work and it was a lot of prep, and at one moment I really thought that I'd fucked it up, but I didn't and everything was fine, and they taste really good. So that's one of my pyramid.
Good, for sure.
What's the top?
The top of my pyramid is this time of year every year because...
Oh my God, mine is also summer themed. Okay,
No,
keep going.
No, it's not. It's not summer themed. It is
go fuck myself, I
guess. It is seeing some of my current students graduating high school and former students graduating college.
Yeah.
Like I've been in education for over a decade now, and so I have so many kids that are like well into adulthood. But I've got like 13 years or something like that of
crazy,
like my kids graduating high school and or college.
Yeah.
It is so like rewarding. One of my favorite things about teaching high school is like this is their like last stop before they're kind of on their own.
Yeah.
A lot still, have people experience college or postgraduate
post-secondary,
life in different ways or whatever, but like it is the last stop before like they are old enough to vote or go to war or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And so getting to see them like grow up and find success in various different avenues, especially this time of year in education, is like super dope. I love it. Top of the pyramid for sure.
I got a graduation invite for a student of mine who, because I taught middle school, and when the student was with me, he identified as non-binary, and I got a graduation invite for I'm not going to say his name. I almost just did. But it's now his name.
He's settled.
Has identifies now as a trans man.
Cool.
But wrote on the back like this big long thing about like, I'm still the same kid that you taught or that you raised or whatever.
Heck yeah.
And I would love for you to come celebrate with me. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. Like, it was very beautiful. And it was just like a moment of like, I'm so proud of him for like really figuring it out and really doing it and like putting in that like real grind of like, what is my gender identity when you're like growing up questioning it. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'll absolutely be at your graduation party for sure.
That's dope.
So my pyramid is summer themed. I'm so excited about this summer. Last summer I was babysitting a grown ass man for like almost all of the summer, and it was really taxing and terrible. I didn't do literally anything fun, and I cried a lot. This summer, however, I am single once again, which means I'm going to be a fucking menace in the streets of Nashville. And by be a menace, I mean I'm going to get a bunch of White Claws and listen to Chappell Roan and go lay out by my friend Faith's pool with my Kindle every day.
Hell yeah.
That's what being a menace looks like to me. I'm really excited.
I want to come.
Okay, you can come. We can hang out. I'm really excited. Because last summer was ass. The summer before was right after I had quit teaching when we were on hiatus. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. What's going on? Who am I? What does it all mean? What do I do if I'm not teaching? All that kind of stuff. And then before all of that, it was just like summers in between teaching. Yeah. And it was like, I only have 2 months. Yeah. To like be a human being before it's time to be a teacher again. And this summer I've already bought a bunch of tickets to things. There's, you might be interested in this as someone who is dating someone. There is a series of movies that they show in Centennial Park. Have you heard about this?
No.
It's called Nightlife 615, I think. 615's our area code. And they have a gigantic screen, and they play, like, they're going to play Miss Congeniality and Scream and, like, all of these, like, 90s-ish movies.
Cool.
And there's, like, food trucks, and it's 21 and up only, because they're like serve alcohol.
Hell yeah.
It's like a really fun time. I've already bought 2 tickets with the girls, and we're going to see Miss Congeniality and Crazy Stupid Love, and
nice.
I'm so excited. I'm ready to really be balls deep in the summer. But what I'm not excited about is this is my DJ Khaled Suffering from Success moment. You know, I'm talking about that album of his,
No.
Suffering from Success, where it's just him suffering from success. I do hate being a big tittied woman in the summertime.
Same.
It is a burden that I did not ask for and do not hope to bear. So everyone's like, oh my God, I can't wait to wear a tube top without a bra on. I'm like, if I was swinging my yabos out without a bra on, I would poke someone's eye out. I'd be a threat to public safety for real, for real. So I'm not really looking forward to that particular piece. I'm going to have to go through the whole kit and caboodle about finding a bathing suit, and that's going to be annoying. But
more like
I'm
tit
pumped.
and caboodle, am I right?
Right here. Very nice.
Also, Faith, if you're listening, I'm just telling you I'm coming over to go to your pool.
Yeah.
This has
yeah,
just
absolutely.
been decided.
It's funny. Faith's like neighborhood, it like has this rule about how like each resident can only have like one guest or something at the pool at a time. But like, who really does that? You know what I mean? And if I do need a backup, my sister and brother-in-law, who you also know, they have a pool, and they said that I can bring whoever I want because it's an actual neighborhood pool. It's not this like weird apartment complex gated community thing. It's like an actual neighborhood with an actual pool. So,
a lot of time they have guest policies
I'm gonna
too.
fuck it up. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck it up real hard. I'm gonna read so many books. The book I'm reading right now.
I love that you said I'm gonna fuck it up so hard, and then the next words out of your mouth were I'm gonna read so many books.
Yeah.
That's well, you're getting crazy.
Yeah,
huh?
I'm putting the lit in literature. Okay, I'm gonna get fucked up on books this summer, bruh.
Oh my
so
God.
excited. The book I'm reading right now is not that great, but when it's over, I'm reading it with a friend of mine at work, so I have to push through it. But I'm really excited.
Put the lid in literature. God damn it. That's so good.
Are you ready to talk about this episode? We're talking about season 3, episode 25.
You bet your bottom dollar I am.
No room for rotten apples.
Which we don't even... Never mind. We'll get into it later.
Disclaimer on the outs. We don't get any Abby Lee Miller content really this episode.
It's the same as the last one. There's
I was
almost
kind of bummed.
Well, she's doing the ultimate dance competition or whatever. And so
know.
she's just like gone, and there's not really time for her to be on her bullshit.
We see... Life always finds a way. We see her for just like a couple... We see her like a minute or two in total, I think. Eliza is like seeing the face of God. It's... What it is the... reflection of that glass fixture on the wall. And sometimes it will shift with the light from the window, and she'll run up to the wall and stare at it super hard. It's amazing.
Speaking of the face of God, that is a short horror film on YouTube that is really quite creepy.
Okay, well, I will stay away from it then. Damn.
If you like those things, I will sometimes watch those just to like give myself a little spook every now and then.
Just to feel something?
It's like 7 or 8 minutes long or something like that, really short, but it is legit creepy. Would recommend it.
Did you ever watch the ABCs or A2? Is it ABCs or A2Zs of horror? Did you ever watch that? Not good. I watched it on Netflix a few summers ago, and I think about it sometimes. I'm like, damn, I wasted a lot of time watching the A. I think it was every letter of the alphabet. Listeners, if you know what I'm talking about, write in. It was very weird, and I did not love it. Also, speaking of writing in, we got an email from a new emailer that I totally forgot about until this moment. I'm so sorry. I have the...
You're so sorry.
I'm so sorry. I have the attention span of like a goldfish. Okay. This is from a woman named Dana. The subject line is "Live, Laugh, Love You."
Hell yeah. Great start.
She says, hi, I recently decided to watch Dance Moms, and I can't tell you why, because I'm not a reality TV fan at all, but May is the busiest month of the year anyways, so I usually react to the pending stress and chaos by adding bizarre, unnecessary obsessions. So here we are. Well, I'm also a runner, and I set myself this weird birthday goal of running 47 miles per week for the entire month.
That's almost 7 miles a day.
Which is... so beyond what I am capable of understanding. It's fucking crazy. I don't know what that's like. But she says, in the discovery of your podcast has been a godsend. Been listening to it to distract myself from the pain. And then she asks for something that a lot of people have asked for before, which is like a timestamp of when we start talking about the actual episode and not just talking talking about bullshit. I do it on YouTube. There is no way for me to do it on Spotify or on the podcasting app, all the different platforms. But I can do it on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, you can see the chapters of when we start talking about
They want to
shit.
skip all the bullshit.
Yeah. And
like,
but
listen,
then
you guys yammer on for 30 fucking minutes and then just get to the shit.
Yeah. Right? If you're only an audio listener, first of all, you should go look at our YouTube. It's very funny. Second of all, it's usually the 30-minute mark. We usually do an hour and a half of talking, and the first 30 minutes is talking shit, and then the last hour is talking about the episode. That's usually... So if you just need a ballpark, that's usually what it is. But then she emailed back like a couple days later and said a follow-up, read the former message. 3 things. Number 1, I have realized that you started letting dear listeners know the time in the podcast where you actually start discussing the Dance Moms episode. And number 2, that doesn't really matter because I started listening to the lead up and now I am enjoying it just as much, if not more, than the episode dialogue.
Hell yeah.
Slay. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. You're really great at it. Heart, Dana. Thanks, Queen.
Thanks, Dana.
Okay, so previously on, we had this episode that Eli mansplained to me of Kathy.
Jesus.
I put that in the description of last week's episode. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
It's the description is literally Eli mansplains an episode of Dance Moms to Amanda.
Oh my God.
But for the record,
I went through all that work.
For the record, yeah, just to get slam dunked on. For the record, it was an agreed upon, approved, consented to mansplaining. So
that's
also
it's not a mansplaining.
Yes, it is.
See,
tell me why it's not.
Mansplaining. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know where a mansplainer gets his water? It's from a well, actually.
Ha.
A well, actually.
That's very good.
That's very funny. Okay, so yeah, we didn't hear like almost anything from the Abby Lee Dance Company last week. We were just talking about Kathy and Anthony, and spoiler alert, that's what this week's episode is as well. It's just mainly Kathy. We'll get to talking about Abby like 2 times, 3 times maybe. She's on screen for maybe a total of 5 minutes.
Not even.
Close. Not even. And then that's it. And the rest of it's Kathy and her shenanigans. I have a note that in the coming up on, I just have holy fuck, Kathy's makeup looks terrible. And it does, and we'll get into it later, but she's really not serving what she thinks she's serving. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can go first, yeah.
Slay. We start this episode in LA. We are seeing the 2nd season of Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition is like filming and about to end. And during the finale, they want someone to come in and like perform, not in competition, but just to perform.
In exhibition.
And Abby, yes, in exhibition. And Abby says that Maddie jumped at the opportunity, which makes it sound like it was an option other kids could have had.
There's just no way that's the case.
No.
Right?
And then she says, did the other girls want to come? I guess not. But there was no way that it was like an everybody can do it thing. Like, that's not real.
And she says, I guess not. I guarantee you what happened was she like called Melissa and was like, hey, would Maddie want to come on? Or would any of the other kids?
Or like whatever, yeah.
If not, would any of the other kids want to come on? She was like, oh, Maddie will do it. And then none of the other kids even like heard about it.
Yeah, because Maddie, she asked her first string. First string can do it. And so she's like, guess the second string didn't want it. It's like, well...
The second string didn't know about it.
Second string didn't know about it, probably. Yeah. And she does say it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that is true.
Sure.
Especially in the performing arts world. That is especially the case. That it's definitely who you know, not what you know. And Abby says that Kathy's all-boys team didn't really work out and that Kathy will never catch up to her. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
She says, Kathy will never be me. I'm like, that's a good thing.
I hope not.
2 of you, the world would explode.
Also, the world needs people like Kathy Nesbitt Stein, so...
I don't know about that.
I need her shenanigans, and I need Vivi. You know what I mean? I need that,
Vivi's
like,
fine, yeah.
Disney villain, like, dynamic in my life. I love both of them. And then Abby's talking to Maddie after she's, like, done a rehearsal for... the number that she's doing on the show, and she says, let's dance and make everyone look bad.
Yeah, it's just stop playing around.
Right.
Let's make everyone else look bad. Like, yeah, let's dance out of spite,
yeah.
Which has never been a motivator for Maddie in like the 11 years that she's been alive.
No.
She has not felt spite
also,
one time.
Make everyone look bad. I thought we were doing this just like in a performance, not as a competition. So who else is she trying to make look bad?
Well, the competitors.
Just like everybody?
The competitors.
Oh, okay. Make everyone else on the show
Like,
look bad.
I'm not even
crazy.
competing, and I'm going to crush you all.
Oh my God, that's
That is
crazy.
not why Maddie does it.
No, she does it because her mom told her to, and she's 11.
She's a perfectionist.
Yeah, also that. We switch at this point and go to the Candy Apples Dance Center. And Kathy's got crazy eyes. She's like wide awake, alert, enthusiastic, crazy eyes.
She says, "I want Candy Apples to be a household name," and I was like, "You're on TV,
girl.
So
you're on television. Yeah, you're on television.
Maybe start there.
You already are. It's like when they were talking about doing the audition for Drop Dead Diva, and they were like, "We want our girls to be on TV." I'm like, "Bitch, you're doing an interview for television.
Where do you think you are right now?
You're live and living color, girl. Like, what do you think?"
Blink twice if someone's holding a gun to your head.
Yeah, for real. I'm like, all of you are already household names, but whatever. And Kathy, we get this like mechanic throughout the whole episode that's just such horseshit about needing to cut someone from the Candy Apples dance team.
Yeah, she's reinforcing.
Like, I need to cut someone.
Yeah, she said, I like having odd numbers in my crew. Even
like,
though,
okay.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Whatever.
And so she's like, I want these dancers to be pros. You got to prove that you're good enough. Not everybody is safe this week.
Okay,
dun,
whatever,
dun,
girl.
dun.
And she says that she's trying to she's intentionally trying to establish a dynamic between her and Anthony.
Yeah.
That like she kind of keeps reminding us and him throughout this episode that she has hired him and that like she's the owner and he's the choreographer. And it's very strange. It's very, to me, it was a little off-putting of like, we know Kathy. Like, I don't know. I didn't like it. It wasn't my jam.
Here's my thing is that she, I think, doesn't want the kids to love Anthony too much.
Probably.
Or because she's used to the kids all really liking her, and she's worried, I think, that if they like Anthony too much, then she'll feel like she doesn't actually have control over the direction of everything. But also, kind of in that same vein, if you have to remind everyone that you're in control, you're not in control.
T. That's it. Big T. She wheels out that fuck-ass little TV to show everyone, like, the new pyramid. She has a new graphic. It is now a tree and not this weird, like, set of lines like it was before.
When I saw this, I paused the episode and put my head in my hands.
It's crazy.
She's like, we're losing the pyramid. I'm guessing the ALDC lawyers probably had something to do with that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't do a pyramid. That's not your thing.
Yeah.
And then she was like, now we have the apple tree. And I just hit pause. I was like, dude, Kathy.
Girl, there were a couple times I laughed out loud in this episode just from, like, sheer ridiculousness.
It was so goofy.
She starts like at the top of the tree rather than the bottom, which is
the highest apple.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think whose like way do you agree with?
I don't like either of them.
Well, sure, but if you had to pick, would you start at the bottom or start at the top?
I
feel like I would start at the bottom.
I think I'd start at the bottom
because like the kids obviously don't know who's where.
Yeah.
So it's like you're giving the kids the anticipation and you're ending on a good note. I'm kind of surprised Abby doesn't start at the top and work her way down to the worst kid.
Yes.
And like build up like, and then at the very bottom, whoosh, worst kid ever. You know what I mean?
Nia.
Yeah, probably Nia or Paige sometimes. Yeah. And then I have in my notes, I ain't writing all this down. She does the pyramid of the kids. Did you write it down?
I did.
Okay, I got a little bored and didn't.
So I was also taking notes on who their parents were so I could reference back earlier.
Perfect.
Or later.
You do this. I'm going to grab my computer charger. You can go
do your thing. At the top is Nikki, and she says, no questions from the peanut gallery about that one. Donna is Nikki's mom and says Nikki deserves lead parts, which she had been advocating for last week as well. So maybe she's got a shot. Second from the top is Hadley. Her mother, Yvette, says Hadley is very advanced, and she's willing to take the other kids down, which don't love that. At the third spot is Nikaya, and she's not even there.
I did think that was really stupid.
Yeah, that's real dumb, but...
Also, her picture looks so much different than everybody else's. It's stupid.
I wasn't even looking. I was writing things down like crazy. And that is because she and her mother, Black Patsy, dropped everything last week to help the Candy Apples, and therefore, quote, will always have a spot here.
Okay,
Fourth spot is Lennon. Lennon's mother, Gina, says, Lennon's a great leader. Lennon says they want to beat Abby for Kathy.
Yep.
All right. That's
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. That was a really disarming comment. I'm going to beat this other person for. And it's like...
At least they're on the same page as Kathy. It's not like Kathy wants a team and we're going to be on that team. Like last week, this is at least like, I want to help Kathy achieve that goal of doing a thing, not just having a thing.
Right.
In the 5 spot is Jalen. His dad, Rick, says Jalen is self-taught, and that's cool. In the 6th spot is Mary with an I. Her mother, Gina D, uses quite literally, I think they use the exact same soundbite from the last episode about my little girl deserves the best.
I did hear that.
Kathy it's the exact same quote, so I don't know what the deal is with that. And then in the 7th spot is Campbell.
Campbell? What a weird way to say that. Campbell?
Well, there's a P in it.
I know, but like, you don't say Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
Campbell.
Campbell's tomato soup.
Campbell, her mother, Allie.
Do you feel like Campbell is also intense?
Says... I'm so proud of you right now.
Fuck off. You shouldn't be. I'm disappointed in
You were happy until I encouraged you.
That's actually true. I was like, oh, wait, I'm actually funny. And then you're like, I'm proud of you. And I was like, ugh. I don't want to be funny anymore.
So Campbell is, her mom, Allie, says, Campbell will get a chance to prove herself. And then Campbell even says, I'm not here for friends. I'm just here to dance.
Oh,
That's a bold take from the bottom, Campbell.
Wow. Brutal, but true. She also later on says, my mom made me for one reason and one reason only, to dance. That is so sad. That's devastating.
Again, if that's the case, what a disappointment to your mom if you're at the bottom. my one lot in life is to be a dancer, and I'm not good at it.
Fucking suck at it. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes-a-roni. Is that it? Is that the...
Yeah, that was the whole
tree?
Was the apple tree.
Okay, great.
Campbell's the root.
It is, like, something worth noting is that Hadley specifically is still here. I guess she's saying she's the one. We get that godforsaken flashback to the roadkill comment from the first season of Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition. Shall I say round count? We hear that again.
Yeah. Hadley's the 2nd spot, though, so she's killing it.
Yeah, true. We get like the blurbs from each parent about why they're here is interesting because we've already met these. What I think happened, if I had to like put money down, is that Lifetime was like, oh shit, Abby's not going to be here. We need to have like a backup Dance Moms team. Let's try to just copy and paste the ALDC format onto Candy Apples.
Clearly.
My like working thesis for this episode is that the Candy Apples parents are too normal. Like this episode falls a little flat because they're like pretty normal people.
Well, most of them.
They're definitely excitable, but like there's no Christy and Kelly dynamic here. There's no Jill. There's no Melissa.
Oh, there's
and
a Jill.
And there sure as shit is no Dr. Holly.
I disagree that there's no Jill. We'll get there.
Okay, fair. But it just like that idea of like, oh, these parents will just start drama. It's like, but it gels at the ALDC for an intangible reason. It does gel. Ew, that sounded gross. Yeah, and then Campbell's comment makes you sad. This week, the Candy Apples are going to the Masters of Dance, which is in Columbus, Ohio. They're doing a group dance that's called So Chic, which we have to talk about later. There's a duet between Nikki and Hadley. It's called Tribal Affair.
Didn't like
Ruh-roh,
either word
Raggy,
in that one.
I'm scared. Giggling, I'm in danger.
Back to the So Chic thing. Mary in her talking head has no idea what that means.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know what chic means.
She's like, I actually do not know what that means.
That's okay, girl.
Big old smile on her face.
The big old toothy grin.
Yeah.
And then Jalen, what?
When they're given the duet, Nikki and Hadley in her talking head says, Nikki is amazing and pushes me to be better.
Yes.
Love that.
Slay. Love that. Jalen's getting a solo that's called One Last Goodbye. It is a contemporary style. It is worth noting. He now all of a sudden has to know how to do a triple pirouette by the time the competition rolls around. He has never danced contemporary before in his very short life on Earth.
Yeah.
So we're just going to throw them to the wolves this week, I guess.
They're kind of deciding, like, hey, man, like, we got to figure out.
You got to nut up or shut up.
We have to have some sort of baseline. If you're actually going to be a contributing part of this team, there has to be some, like, substance to what you do, not just spin on your head. It's like if you're trying out for a drum line, you have to be able to play 8 on a hand. If you're going to play an instrument, like, I have to be able to play my scales. Yes. In order to be a part of this marching band, I have to be able to play my scales. Whatever. It's just something like that. I think that's fine.
I'm going to show you a TikTok of there's a grandma who drums.
Oh, I've seen her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen several of her videos, actually.
I'll go fuck myself.
No, she's awesome.
Where she like has a little like practice pad, and she like she's like in her 50s.
She's
60s.
pretty.
She's like really good.
She has better hands than a lot of kids I've taught.
She's like actually crushing it. She one time, one of my favorite videos of hers is like there's a dripping faucet at like in her kitchen or whatever, and she takes like a set of sticks and she's talking about syncopation because it's like drip drip. Yes, yeah, that's like the whole thing is syncopation because it's on her kitchen sink.
Love that.
And it's like drip 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 drip, and so she starts like drumming in that pattern, and it's like it's so cool. Anyway,
that was awesome.
Unrelated.
I will say that Jalen's solo being called One Last Goodbye almost seems like they're setting the table for him to be cut from the team.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a little foreboding. Like that kid's like 8. Maybe this is a lot.
Mary has
a solo called Still I Rise. And they're giving
kind of a badass title.
Yeah, they're giving these like doling these out in a very serious, formal, like, Mary, you will also be doing a solo that's titled Still I Rise. Like they're robot people. It's very weird. Whereas Abby's like, fuck it, none of you bitches get solos. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's just a very different vibe than what we're used to. We're 3 days out from the competition. This is where I have in my notes. I really hope we get to see the ALDC team this week. We do not, unfortunately. The moms, and I guess the dad, the Rick,
the parents.
They're all like kind of nervy about who's going to get cut. What?
I was going to say, when they announced that the group is a hip hop routine, they're like kind of going through it, and Rick says, yeah, Jalen, show them that swag. And it sounds like it just sounds so forced.
So dry. Yeah.
Also, I just hate the term swag. Like, I tend to be behind on adopting slang anyway. I cannot.
What an insane sentence.
Like, I say, like, it took me a while to even, like, jokingly use the word lit.
Lit, yeah.
But swag, I cannot bring myself to even say it.
I can't.
I have a couple former students that know. Actually, they're still current students. I think they're juniors, but they know that about me.
Yeah.
And they refer to everything like, "Hey, Eli, how are you feeling today? Kind of swag?" And I was like, "No, not
actually.
At all."
Yeah. It's something about the word swag. It makes me think of like Gangnam Style and those sunglasses that had mustaches attached to the bottom of them. Or I think about like free hugs and too much swag and like neon stuff everywhere. And it's like, this is
neon, sure, and sideways flat billed hats.
Yes. Yeah.
The worst people, only the worst people use the term swag. Like Justin Bieber.
Do you know what happened last week?
What? Did he pee in another mop bucket or say the N-word?
Okay, no, those are. I've said this before. Justin Bieber is my most problematic celebrity crush. No, something.
Jake Paul is.
Oh no, Jake Paul got ugly. He's fine. He's been taking too many steroids, and he's a beefcake, and I'm not into that. Justin Bieber is going to have.
Isn't he a father?
A child.
Yeah.
With not me.
Which
is what I'm saying. This is a fun fact.
There, huh?
Yeah, this is a fun fact for all the viewers. I have a chronic fear of pregnancy. But still, even then, I was like, damn, I was just about to reach out. You know, like, what the fuck? I'm like,
swag baby.
I am chronically afraid of being pregnant, and I literally do not know this man at all. But when I heard that, I was like, that actually kind of bums me out a little.
Jesus Christ.
For what? Like, why does that bum me out? I don't fucking know. But it did a little.
Several of my employees found that out one day, and we're all like talking about like, oh my gosh, what do you think it's gonna be? What do you think the name's gonna be? I just can't bring myself to care.
You know, he has a song that's called "That Should Be Me."
You know, he has a song called "Baby."
Like, that should be me holding your hand. And I'm like, literally me. Anyway, we're not talking about Justin Bieber anymore. I'm gonna freak out. Let's see.
Also, the group dance is about club kids.
Oh, the club kids, which is like an actual thing, and they don't go into any sort of like justification or research about what club kids
Justification?
Are we going to talk about Justin Bieber or not?
No,
Don't
sorry.
tease me like that, bro.
Were you aware of Club W in Cool Springs?
No.
You would have been a little young for this. But there was a club for teenagers in Cool Springs called Club W.
What? No.
Sometimes called The Dub.
I do remember that, like, kid clubs were a thing, but I don't remember we had one.
I never went there. But, yeah, it was open. It was, like, off Seaboard Lane in Cool Springs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This was open when I was in, like, middle school and high school. I texted my friend Chris earlier today just to make sure, when I heard this, I was like, just to make sure that wasn't a fever dream.
Like, you remember this thing, too, right? This was, like, an actual thing.
It was, like, an under-18 club. How wild is that?
I do remember that was, like, a trend. I remember hearing about them, like, other cities had them. But I don't remember obviously going to the one that was allegedly in our hometown.
Club W.
Yeah. Let me restart the camera.
Rip to a real one.
Rick to a real one.
Oh my God.
So so the group number is about club kids. Okay. All of the parents are like pretty equally nervous. We get this like non-specific dialogue about like, I hope it's not my kid. I hope my kid gets to stay, whatever. Rick seems to be a little extra nervy. A little more like, well, it's probably not going to be my kid because my kid's the shit. And everyone's like, okay, we weren't really talking
about this.
Yeah, like, okay, we got it, actually.
Then, of course, Gina D is worried about her daughter, Mary.
Mary, yeah.
Gina D is the Jill.
Mary, yes. And Mary is the one that got sick last week. And everyone's like, she's making excuses.
She's already kind of on thin ice, I guess.
Yeah. And I have a note here that this is like, I think they are so, excuse me, outside of Gina D, everyone else is like, and Rick is like kind of annoying, but like this is like normal parent stuff, like normal performing art parent stuff. Like I knew band parents that were like this when I was in high school. I knew parents of kids that I taught when I was a theater teacher. This is like pretty standard stuff, which is why it feels kind of like forced and disjointed, because these are not made for reality TV parents like the Christy and Kellys of the world are. You know?
Yeah, definitely not.
We get Jalen's solo rehearsal. This made me laugh out loud. Anthony counts him off or counts him in, and he says 5, 6, 7, and 8, and stop. He's like immediately on one. He's like, stop. And then he like corrects him. He has literally had one count, and all he did was look, and he's like, stop. Then he stops, and he's already fucking something up.
Oh, I've stopped so many reps of drumline before they even play a note.
Oh, sure, because they're not like going into it correctly, or they didn't start in the right spot or whatever.
Up, didn't happen.
Yeah. It's just funny. And stop.
Yep.
Like very first count, stop. Anthony wants, this is where we hear about him doing a triple pirouette, or they think he's going to get cut. That's crazy. Because we don't even know if he can do a single or a double.
We're pretty confident he cannot.
Yeah, we're just level jumping all the way to 3, which is such an unrealistic expectation. It's crazy.
Yeah, and at this point, Jalen's getting a lot of like individual time with Anthony, and Gina D is worried that because of that, Mary won't have any time to get individual coaching as well.
Right.
Rick then like gets up. This is a totally normal thing to do. Rick gets up and says, okay, well, since his time's about to end, I'm going to go ask Anthony if I can record the routine so that Jalen can like watch him practice at home.
Very normal.
When he does that, as he's walking out the door, Gina D whines, oh, what about Mary? And I right then was like, well, she's my least favorite person on the show now. That's insane. What the hell was that? She literally whines, what about Mary? Like, what is he supposed to do about Mary?
Yeah, I feel like before I start talking my shit, I am also this way. You hate people who complain.
Oh, I have a whole bit about that in
one thing I know about Bestie Eli is that he hates people who complain, but not this is actually really annoying. Let me go do something about it. You hate people who either complain about stuff that they don't have any control over or complain and do nothing.
Yes.
Like that, you hate that shit.
I really
You've
do.
hated that shit since day one.
Bottom
I feel
of the pyramid.
Like that's like one of your identifying qualities. It's like Eli, not in like a people need to work harder, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. No. It's just like if you're gonna complain about shit that you can't fix or shit that you won't fix, shut the fuck up.
The shit that you won't fix thing is crazy to me.
You hate that shit.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm getting worried. I've got a whole bit about it. Don't you worry.
Okay, great. Yeah, so there's the little thing about Jalen and Mary, like, having disproportionate time. Rick says that all the moms are in what he says the kiss and cry room.
Yeah, he's like, one of the hardest things about being the only man in the kiss and cry room.
And then he says is that women need to understand that men express themselves differently. When he said that, I'm not kidding, I stopped typing and I did like this with my hands. I was like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
To hear someone say that so brutally and bluntly is crazy to me.
The thing is, I thought he was going to say something crazier
because
of how the sentence started.
I thought he was going to say, what women need to understand is that, like, we're the alpha and they need to be I thought he was going to say something crazy.
Yeah.
And he kind of didn't. He was just like, men express themselves differently. And then he was like, okay, Jalen, whatever. And I was like, I feel like he brought me up to the edge of the cliff with my toes gripping on the side and then just let me stand there.
Yep.
He didn't kick me off
Nope.
like I thought he was going to. I'm just standing there and I'm still freaking out. I'm still panicked.
Then Gina D takes her daughter Mary in while Jalen is still rehearsing, starts getting Mary ready to stretch in the corner, and then is whining from the corner to Anthony asking if Mary can start.
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't forget about Mary. Can we get started? Are we going to start soon? Oh, my God.
Sorry.
Oh, my God.
I forgot how much you hate people who bitch.
Dude.
Bitch about things
She's
they
the
can't
Jill.
or won't change.
She's the Jill.
Yeah.
Just complaining to complain.
Yeah. And she's the only person who's super vocal. This is her and Rick will be the rest of this episode.
Yes.
Everyone else is pretty normal, but she really does. And that is why you hate Jill. That makes sense. Jill also has
unproductive, creating problems.
Yeah, she has some extra sauce of like stirring the pot, which we also hate collectively, like obviously. But especially a complainer, you fucking hate that shit.
I hate things that aren't productive.
Yeah. That's fair. I know we've talked about your Enneagram type, but what did we decide on? Are you a 1 or a 3? Do
Not a 3. I'm either a 1 or I think I've got it pulled up actually.
I feel like you might low key be a 2.
No.
If you know what the Enneagram is, please write in. I would love to talk about it. I am an 8 with a 7 for if that means anything to anybody. I love the Enneagram.
So yeah, I'm either a 1 or an
3.
8.
Oh, I'm an 8.
An 8, yeah, self-confident, decisive, willful, and confrontational.
Yeah.
That'd be like my second thing, but I'm a 1. Principled, purposeful, self-controlled, perfectionistic.
Yeah. 8s and 1s get along super well. 8s, and because it's like 8 or 1s really hate the feeling of, or really live in the conflict of right versus wrong, and 8s live in the conflict of just and unjust. So it's super similar.
A lot of overlap.
But the difference is that in this like family, this like thing of the Enneagram, it's in 3 sections. So you have like the head, the heart, and the gut.
Yep.
And I'm in the gut and you're in the head. So like that's kind of the difference, but they're pretty similar. Also, I forgot to start the timer again, so if the camera shuts off, scream at me and I'll go fix it. Okay, we go to a commercial. We come back from commercial. Kathy's here. Gross.
What the
Kathy
this scene
is in her house, and she is like, with Vivi, and she's like, I need to take a break. I need to decompress. I'm going to count my bunnies.
I'm going to catalog all of my ceramic bunnies is an actual thing that she's doing. And then she says, because we're a hoppy family, which I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. And she's like, it is kind of annoying because she's like, that bunny is very manly. I bet it's Jill.
Yep.
And she's like, that bunny's Abby because it has its arms full of food. It's like, that's annoying. But I really love Vivi because she's so normal and so endearing. And it's just like, okay, whatever.
She's just along for it.
Yeah, she's not like overly expressive or like, I was born to dance. She's just like, can I go home and eat some cheesecake, please? She's just very cute. I love her.
I just want to eat chips.
We're back at the studio. Anthony gives us his like resume of like, I've danced with this person. I've danced with this person. He does have the gall to count Beyonce and Destiny's Child as 2 separate things, which is just like funny to me, but like, okay,
maybe
whatever.
He did both.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. In my brain, it just registered as something funny. I'm not saying he should or shouldn't have done it. It was just like, I've danced with Beyonce. I've danced with Destiny's Child. And it's like, Phil Collins and Genesis. It's like the same thing, but okay, that's fine.
Well,
I think it's weird that they're making him do this now. This is why I think it's just like, oh shit, we need a filler episode. Because we already know all this stuff. Because when he was introduced, we heard a lot of this stuff already.
Well, we knew about Katy Perry, I think.
And like the celebrity stuff, but like in the middle of an episode that's in the middle of a season.
Yeah, well,
with someone that we already knew, it's just weird.
When he first came in, it was like part of a fight where he's like, where someone says like, you got fired.
Don't break my table.
He's like, I quit.
Yeah.
And they mentioned Katy Perry.
You got fired from Katy Perry, and he was like, bitch, I quit.
He's like, yeah, I walked out, but I think it's good to hear like his whole, and I think he's just going off on like, I don't know why Kathy thinks she needs to have so much control. Yeah. This is my resume. I got this.
Sure.
So
I think it was the edit was weird.
Right, maybe.
We didn't get any of that context.
Yeah.
Anthony's working with Mary now on her solo. She's very nervous, you can tell. And Anthony says that she doesn't believe in herself, and that's why she's underperforming, which is like a very bold claim to make for a child. Like, you don't believe in yourself. Like, you don't know that. Maybe she's nervous because you're a grown-ass man and she's intimidated by you.
Yeah, Gina D says that Mary is nervous about working with Anthony because he can be a little intimidating.
Yeah, maybe it's just that, and it's not that serious.
Yep.
Then she starts having trouble breathing, and she starts having what looks like an asthma attack. Gina D gets up and rushes in, and then they, like, usher her off camera. I never see an inhaler. And that doesn't mean it wasn't an asthma attack. It's just strange to me. What? What do you think?
I know that asthma is most commonly like genetic or the result of like an allergy or like an early childhood respiratory infection. But I'm choosing to believe that it's the other thing, that Gina D keeps a moldy, dusty, gross house, and it's directly her fault that Mary has this condition.
Like her moldy, dusty personality.
Yes. I watched this happen, and my heart immediately blamed her mom.
Yeah. That's your headcanon.
Yes.
That's what you believe is the lore. That's fair. This is
where I have my little rant. So appease me for a second. Okay, so
I'm ready.
I've decided after 2 episodes that Gina D sucks, and it's because,
do you hate her more or less than Jill?
I don't know yet.
Okay, fair.
I really don't know yet. Jill intentionally starts more drama, but Gina D already has more like suck per second.
Fair.
Like per airtime.
Yeah, fair.
And it's because I hate complainers. I prefer fighters. Both complainers and fighters bring attention to the fact that there is a disconnect between what they're getting and what they feel they should be getting. Mm-hmm. But complaining comes from like a lower stance, like, oh, I don't like this. Someone else please fix it. Like Jill does that. I like fighters like Christy. She doesn't fuck around. She's an adult and she stands up for herself and her kid. Complainers ask, fighters tell.
Oh my God, this is really aggressive.
Yes. Complainers say, we're not getting something, which is reactive, and fighters say, I want something, which is proactive.
Yes, agree.
That's the difference.
Yeah, agree.
Fighters bring a solution.
Yeah.
Complainers are just saying, here's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find a solution then.
Also, complaining is typically very passive-aggressive. Like,
it often is.
That Gina being like, don't forget about Mary. It's like, just say, hey, I'm afraid that Mary's not getting enough time. Or like, Jalen's time is over. It's Mary's time now. Just say that. Don't be passive aggressive. Just say what's going on.
Even bringing it up, just like, Jalen's been rehearsing for 30 minutes. Mary needs her 30 minutes as well.
Right. Just a fact. That's a statement.
Yes.
To your point.
Not like, oh, I don't think it's fair that Mary isn't getting enough. God, shut up. Oh.
Just say it. Don't imply it. Just say what it is.
Yes, just say what you mean.
Have a problem.
Say what you mean.
Yeah. People are afraid to fight, and so then they're passive-aggressive, which then makes everything like a million times worse.
Yes.
Than if you just fought.
Just be direct. People are so scared of being direct.
Yeah.
And I think I will say that in a lot of cases for, I guess, certain demographics, people are afraid of being perceived as being like sure. For a woman, forgive the language, but being perceived as like as a bitch.
Yeah. Or like an angry black woman.
Correct.
Or like, oh, I'm going to be perceived as fill in the blank kind of person. Yeah, for sure.
And so there is a little bit of that. So I will give that little bit of grace, but just be direct, guys.
Yeah, and in this incident with Gina, that's not what's happening. She's being passive aggressive.
Yeah, it's awful. I hate it.
We see the Nikki and Hadley duet. Kathy's tracksuit, so fucking ugly. Crushed gray velour, bedazzled, zipped up to the neck up, and she's turning into Abby. Because Abby loves a crushed velour tracksuit. Loves a tracksuit.
That's hilarious.
Christy looks like that. And then later she has like ghastly makeup on, and I'm like, you're really turning into Abby. I don't really want to talk about it right now. This like tribal affair bullshit has so much cultural appropriation. It's fucking insane.
I have nothing about it.
It is like
just by the title, you know what's happening. Whatever.
It's crazy. The parents are watching. The parents are still nervous. Okay. We're now in the group. We're doing the group rehearsal. There is an artist named Malik So Chic, and it is their song that we're performing to. This person,
by the way.
Great. This person is a friend of Anthony's. Kathy and Lennon are talking, and Anthony interrupts them.
I was just gonna say that Anthony shows a picture of
Malik So Chic.
Yes. Were you gonna get to that or?
I didn't have any notes other than this is just a friend.
So I have a whole bit about this.
Oh my god. Okay, slay.
So Anthony shows a picture of Malik So Chic. Great name.
Great name.
In drag.
Yeah.
One of the kids asks, is that a guy?
Is that a guy? Yeah.
And I had to wonder in this moment, and Anthony just like plainly answers, like, that's a fair question. Yeah. You have no idea what's going on. I'll answer this for you. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if maybe this was like maybe a moment of realization for like Nikki and Lennon.
Mm-hmm.
Who
I have that note later. Yeah.
Now, yeah. And so like moments like this could be really impactful for kids that have like gender dysphoria. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that like seeing a man in drag will like turn them trans or gay or non-binary or whatever, but it shows them that this is like that being so is a normal, safe option for them to express themselves instead of never seeing anyone that like embodies that for them. Yes. And then they exist with this feeling of like not fitting in your own body or not knowing how exactly you want to express yourself. They finally have like, I don't want to use the term role model, but they finally have like something that like is a visualization of how they might be able to express themselves. And this reminds me of the whole thing where like a bunch of Republican senators tried to ban like drag show performances, especially and specifically drag queens reading to kids. Yep. You remember this?
Yes. Because they tried to classify drag as sex work.
Right.
Which is not what drag is, even a little bit.
Correct. And it's because Republican senators were afraid that seeing adults in drag would like turn kids gay or trans or non-binary or whatever. And meanwhile, while they're doing that to quote unquote protect kids, they're refusing to pass gun legislation in a country that has more mass shootings than the next like 40 countries combined.
True.
Jon Stewart brought this up in an interview with Oklahoma State Senator Nathan Dahm, and I have that clip. It is a minute long.
Wait, let me restart the camera. Hang on.
Okay.
Because I truly have no idea how long it's been going.
Okay, I have the clip. Hopefully this isn't too loud.
Not the clap.
Hopefully you can hopefully you can hear this. But they're talking about it's going to be pretty loud, but they're talking about he's basically confronting this senator who will not pass gun legislation because, quote unquote, that right shall not be infringed. But he's totally fine with banning drag show readings to children to, quote unquote, protect those kids. So this is Jon Stewart, beloved Jon Stewart, confronting this fucking guy.
Even rights have responsibilities, and that within those responsibilities and order. Otherwise, it's chaotic. I'll go you one further. You want to ban drag show readings to children?
To minors, yes.
Why?
Why?
What are you protecting?
Why can we prohibit children from voting, those under 18 from voting?
Why are you banning that? Is that free speech? Are you infringing on that performer's free speech?
They can continue to exercise their free speech, just not in front of a child.
Why?
Because the government does have a responsibility to protect.
I'm sorry?
The government does have a responsibility in certain instances to
What's
protect
the leading cause of death amongst children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is.
Jon Stewart.
It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck to stop that because that shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
Bang.
Yeah.
Mic fucking drop.
Love Jon Stewart.
And so that's not what happens in this episode. That is,
No.
This was just born of the fact that, like, one of the kids asks about seeing a person in drag. Anthony gives a very plain answer, like, oh, this is a friend of mine. They're a performer. They are, you know, a party planner, blah, blah, blah. Like, all this whole thing, and just talks about them like, this is a human being. That is not going to turn kids into whatever thing you're afraid of them becoming. But it is a healthy way for those kids to realize, like, oh, this is how I can express myself.
Yeah.
The weirdness that I'm feeling that I don't get to ever have access to, now I have a way to access it.
Yeah.
And it is healthy for those kids. Those kids were going to have those thoughts. Those kids are going to have those feelings regardless of what they see.
Right.
But now they have a happier, healthier, safer way of expressing it.
Right.
And you as a parent or you as a human being should be thrilled that they have that outlet.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Team. I have more thoughts about that and that I in my notes that I'll plug in when we get to the actual group performance.
Sure.
But Slay, love Jon Stewart.
Me too.
Love Jon Stewart.
He's too good to ever run for president, but my God, should
hilarious. Like hilarious and knows exactly what he's doing. Very
he's so
smart, very
smart.
funny.
He's
Just
so
like me.
smart.
Just kidding. Jon Stewart's way fucking smarter than me. Oh my God. And funnier. So okay, Kathy and Lennon are talking to one another and Anthony kind of interrupts them and Kathy gets mad and then Kathy and Anthony have this like, I'm trying to be a teacher. And then Anthony's like, you know, you're wasting my time. I'm a creative, blah, blah, blah. Kathy says, mind your P's and Q's. That means be polite and quiet.
Hilarious.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't, but that's very funny.
P's and Q's stands for please and thank yous.
Sure, but
That's what I always heard.
But mind your P's and Q's. That's just funny. That means polite and quiet. That's funny.
No, whatever. Yeah, it's funny because she's so fucking wrong.
Yeah, it's funny.
Anthony then calls her corny, which is hilarious.
And she says, "Oh, she drops
Like,
another
you're
banger."
thinking of food. Yeah, like,
corn. All you're thinking about is food. That's fucking hilarious.
But then she says, "You're just like Abby." It's like she literally is not even here, and that woman lives in a beachfront condo in your brain, rent free.
Yes.
Like she's not even here, and you have mentioned her name twice, unprovoked. No one else is talking about her. You brought her up.
This little conversation was the funniest that Kathy has ever been.
Yeah, it was pretty goofy.
Absolute P's and
Anthony
Q's,
calling her corny was hilarious.
Yes, you're corny.
You're
be
corny.
Quiet.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then Anthony has been like intermittently having the boys do push-ups as like a form of punishment /
We call them boys because that's how Anthony.
They're
refers to
representing
the
their
presenting.
gender. Yes, the currently presenting as boys students are doing push-ups. Thank you for that, because Anthony like wants them to be stronger ? But also it's like a form of punishment ?
Yeah,
He says to do it again, and Jalen starts crying.
Yeah, well, and this whole
really
thing,
sad.
this whole fight between him and Kathy about push-ups just shows that like the harmony that they were feeling from the last episode was total bullshit.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
sure.
we know our role. We have got a good partnership. It took her a while for her to trust me. No, all gone.
No, yeah, you don't know anything about each other. And Jalen's like, I don't want to do push-ups for no reason. And Anthony's like, we're going to do them anyway. And Jalen's like tearing up. Campbell is also crying. So it feels like the vibe in the room is just like...
not good.
Bad.
Anthony has lost the kids.
Yeah, Rick fucking like... push, like kicks in the door.
Charges in.
And he's like, why aren't the girls doing any push-ups? Anthony says, I don't want them to do push-ups. He says their arms need to be, quote, soft and dainty.
He says girls don't do push-ups. And I saw a video on Instagram 2 days ago of a girl benching 245. Girls definitely can do push-ups, Anthony.
My question, he says that he wants their arms to be soft and dainty. Have you ever seen a ballerina?
Oh, they're powerful as shit.
Ballerinas are ripped as fuck. Because you have to be muscular to be a dancer. So, like, I don't know where he thinks this, like, lilting, dainty, you know, fragile ballerina girly exists. Because, Missy Copeland, ripped, shredded human being. So, that's bullshit and stupid.
Also, do you know the best way to, like, be able to move yourself smoothly and gracefully through space? Put muscle on. It takes muscles to do that.
I hate push-ups.
Well, yeah, push-ups are not an effective way of working your chest or your arms. But,
also, it's Misty Copeland. I was confusing her with Missy Elliott. Misty Copeland. Still, ripped as fuck. She's got the Michelle Obama arms. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yes, being strong is cool. Also, doing a few push-ups is not going to make you have big, bulky arms.
Like,
Get real, Anthony.
Like, we had this conversation when he wanted everybody to go to the gym. We were like, it's just going to make them tired.
Yeah.
He also says he doesn't want his girls looking like He-Man. I thought you were an ally like 30 seconds ago. And like,
yeah, Anthony.
I thought you were cool. I thought we were doing cool shit, and now you're being annoying. I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
he has a good friend who is a drag queen, and then he does this nonsense. Like
whatever.
Bruh.
Now we hear from Rick and his talking head. It is so, and I'm not trying to clown on Rick, but it is just very jarring that he's like, why don't you have these girls do push-ups? And Anthony's like, I don't want my girls looking like muscular, blah, blah, blah. And then Rick is like crying, and his talking head, he goes, I just never had a father figure growing up. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It was a jarring transition.
It's a terrible edit. It doesn't make any sense until you kind of like listen. And what he's getting at is that like he has to stand up for his son, and he wants to give his son what he never had, which is like an involved father.
Yeah, he's like,
that makes sense. But
Yep.
the edit is fucking crazy. It is so. It's just crazy.
I mean, that's kind of how they had to do it, though. It's like, this is him defending his kid, and here's why he's defending his kid.
Sure.
Like,
it was
so
just
passionately.
very jarring that we went from screaming to crying about not having a dad. I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah, he says, I didn't have a father growing up. I didn't have someone to support me. I didn't have someone to protect me. Someone to tell me that no matter what happens, I'll protect you.
And we see Rick and Jalen kind of like having father-son time.
Yeah, and so every once in a while, this is what I'm talking about with Rick being such a polarizing character on this show, is sometimes you get to like see him be like a good
sometimes
dad.
he's that girl.
Yeah. And he says to Jalen, like, I know you want to be here for this team, but I cannot allow someone to treat you like that.
Spoiler alert, he does. But it is very sweet in that moment. It's,
Spoiler alert, nothing changes.
It's a nice thought. We go to commercial and we come back. The moms are like, where's Rick? Where's Jalen? They walk in like 5 minutes later.
Yeah, Gina D was also missing.
Yeah, coincidentally. Lennon's mom says that Rick kind of like comes off harsh. What's Lennon's mom's name?
Allie.
No,
I'm lying to you. Lennon's mom. Wait, I wrote this down. Oh, shit. Gina.
It is, but not Gina D. Gina
Correct.
D's Mary's mom.
Is Campbell's mom.
Campbell's mom. Oh my God. Who's Mary's mom?
Let me scroll back up.
Who's the one that you hate?
Gina D is Mary's mom.
So she's the...
Gina is Lennon's mom.
Word. Okay. Gina, Lennon's mom, says that Rick is kind of harsh and that sometimes she wishes he would just kind of like back off. And Kathy's like, I'm going to go in and talk to Anthony. And she says that Anthony's always hurting her feelings because she like kind of is like... he's really mean to the kids and she's not. And he, every once in a while, kind of undermines Kathy and, like, calls her a joke, is what she says. And then she starts crying. It's very weird.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable
These two educators fully have two different teaching philosophies. That's just what it comes down to.
Could not be more different, honestly.
It's like one of them believes in tough love and one of them believes in gentle parenting. It's just two different frameworks of education. They're not going to agree on everything. That is a fundamental philosophical difference between your girl and your boy. It just is that way.
Yeah, and so Anthony then makes a pretty good point saying, like, listen, I only need you to respect that while I'm teaching, this is my space, and that's
fair.
it. And I think that's 100% fair because
Totally fair.
neither one of their teaching styles works if they can't fully commit to it.
True.
And Anthony's your choreographer, Kathy. You hired him.
Yeah.
You need to let him do what he's doing. If you come in and try and offer, like, consolation or whatever or comfort while he's trying to do his thing isn't effective.
Right.
And so you're saying like these kids aren't like, you kind of have to deal with him being like kind of like high demand or whatever. You have to deal with feelings being temporarily hurt, but then the kids will rise to the occasion. That's like how I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying it's right, but that's how it works.
Right.
That you have to let it happen.
Yeah.
You know that's how he teaches, and you hired him. So this is on you, dog. You need to let him teach.
Yeah. And we're going to hear all about it. We're going to get a fucking earful at the end from Kathy about how much money she's invested in him and how he's an investment and is it working? Am I getting my money's worth? He's an investment all this time, all this money. You need to keep that energy the whole time. Bring it to the runway, girl. Like, it needs to be like that constantly.
Yeah.
You need to have that concern always. And then they get into this little tiff about who's going to have the last word in this argument. And she's like, let me have the last word. It's very pick-me girl shit. I'm like, Kathy, this is embarrassing.
This is another time I laughed out loud because, like, Kathy like, storms out.
She storms away.
She starts to walk away.
She dramatically crosses.
She starts to walk away. It cuts to Allie, Campbell's mom, in a talking head saying, when Anthony starts screaming and swearing at Kathy, it's not okay with me. When did that happen? He wasn't screaming. He wasn't swearing. He was talking.
Okay.
But anyway, so on her way out, Anthony stops Kathy. And then they both say, like, you're being mean. Well, you started it. Well, I'm going to finish it. Blah, blah, blah. They go back and forth. Kathy then says, let me have the last word right now. And then there's a pause. And Anthony goes, you got it. And she just goes, no.
No. I need to have the last word.
I swear to God, they were both about to start laughing.
He kind of smiles and giggles a little.
Yeah, because
and so I'm like,
that's
is this
funny.
staged or
That's
what?
funny.
Like, yeah.
It's just funny. Like,
yeah.
let me have the last word. He's like, okay.
She's like sobbing. She's like, let me have the last word. And he's like, you got it. She's like, no, Dad need to have the last word. And then he just kind of looks at her and she's like, I need to have the last word. It's so goofy.
He laughs first and she realizes that even though she's in the middle of crying she realizes that it's funny and he hugs her and they're both kind of like chuckling about it.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. They're fine.
It looks so staged. Or like they realize like we were told to have this fight. This is funny. This is legit funny.
Right. We cut to Hollywood. It's literally nothing. It's like just a second. Abby is rehearsing with Maddie to get her to do this performance on Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition. They're doing a technical rehearsal, and Abby's like, I'm not concerned with Kathy. And she's like, that's the last time I'm ever going to say her name. First of all, no one was talking about her. You brought her up. Second of all, she says her name like 10 minutes later.
Yes.
Okay, sure, Jan.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about her. Why would I talk about her? No one asked about her, Abby.
It's like, have you been following the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef that's been going on?
Instagram's been trying to get me to.
Okay. There's a moment, a lot of people have accused Drake of being a pedophile because he dates underage girls all the time.
That would make him a pedophile.
It would. Yeah, it very much would.
The Millie Bobby Brown thing.
Okay, so there was a time when Drake recently was like, I have never dated an underage girl, especially not Millie Bobby Brown. And people were like, that's really specific. No one brought that up. You are self-reporting.
No, it was
on yourself.
I saw it where they were like, Drake's a pedophile. He's like, I never touched Millie Bobby Brown. Like,
and we were like,
no one brought
said
her
that.
up at all.
Yeah, like, okay, whatever.
Telling on yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
there.
very much self-reporting. We go back to the candy apples. We really only see Maddie and Abby for like maybe not even a minute, and then it cuts back. Anthony is rehearsing with Mary again, and Mary's mom says that she doesn't like the music. And Rick is you, and he's like, you complain too much, and if she doesn't win, it's going to be, oh, the music was bad. Oh, she didn't get enough time. Oh, it's
costume.
This. Oh, it's that.
She's setting up excuses.
He's like, you complain too much.
He literally says, you're setting up excuses that you can use later.
He's just like, you for real.
Yeah, well, no.
For real. No. It's
in
just
this moment,
Just in this moment, yeah, for sure. Yvette, I think really, like, she mentions the tension. She's, like, kind of giggling a little as it's going on. She's like, Rick, oh my God. Like, Rick is so crazy. We can't take him anywhere. It's very weird because when there's tension and with the Abby the Dance Company moms, they're like calling each other slurs. They're bleeping shit out. They're running out of the room. And Yvette is just like smiling and being like, Rick's kind of hot when he's mad. Like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from her with her little smile. And I'm like
wow,
okay,
his cheekbones are flaring out. Oh my God.
I'm like, okay, this is very strange, but like, sure, whatever.
Allie says the proof is in the pudding as they're fighting. So like, let's let the kids duke it out, right? Let's let them dance and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Proof's in the pudding. Everybody shut up.
Sounds good. Okay, we are at the competition. Kathy has brought in a real life bunny. I don't know how else to set that up.
This again made me laugh out loud.
She's brought in a bunny.
She brought in a fucking rabbit.
Whoever does the worst is going to have to pick up all the little rabbit droppings. And all the kids are like, I'll do it.
Campbell is front and center. And she's like, I'll do it. Let me do it.
It's like a little bunny. And she's trying to be like, whoever sucks the most is going to have to pick up this bunny shit. And everyone's like, it's a bunny.
She calls them turd poops.
Turd poops. That's right. Turd poops.
Also, she in her talking head, Kathy says, a rabbit foot is good luck. So we've got the whole bunny.
Yeah. I'm like, that's strange. Also in this moment, people who wear makeup specifically can write in and corroborate this. Kathy is wearing eyeliner underneath her eye on the lower lash line. That is not where you're supposed to put eyeliner on the bottom half of your eyeball.
Maybe Vivi did her makeup.
It looks like it. If she did, slay Vivi. You're supposed to put it in your waterline.
Yes.
But she's put it in her lash line, so there's this like full disconnect between black and her eyeball, and it is alarming to say the least. It looks so bad. And then her eyeshadow is like electric blue, shimmery, and it's like not in like a cool way, not in like an artistic way, but in a I haven't done my makeup since the 80s and I'm doing my best on the bus way. Doesn't look good. It looks pretty fucking bad.
As soon as she makes the bunny comment, Kathy then says to the group, we're a big, happy family, and then takes a breath and says, ideally, I want a team of 5. You all can do the math.
Yeah, you won't do the math.
We're a team of 5, and one of you's going away.
And one of you fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of speculation about like who's going to get cut and like what are we going to do and whatever. Performance time.
Hell yeah.
Mary goes first. Mary's mom says that she thinks that she kind of like ad-libbed a little bit. She's like, I think she might have forgotten a couple of moments, but she kept going and she ad-libbed a little. And she says that Anthony will probably be mad about it, even though the skill is keep dancing even if you fuck up.
True.
Which is fair.
Yeah, Kathy expressed beforehand that she needs to see Mary perform under pressure with no excuses. Then in her talking head afterwards, Kathy says she forgot a step. That's cracking under the pressure to me. Like she literally said, I just want to see her get through this dance without cracking, and then she cracked.
But I feel like I disagree with that. I feel like cracking under pressure is stopping.
Is forgetting your dance.
I don't know. I feel like when I think about whether or not someone cracks under pressure, to me I'm saying what my opinion is, bitch. Shut up.
And I'm saying
you can say that your opinion's different than mine, but let me say my opinion.
Better.
When I think about a performer who cracks under pressure, I think about like people, like there is an episode where Maddie forgets her dance. Yeah. And she cries and she runs off.
Oh, yeah.
That to me is like cracking. When I think about someone who's just made some stuff up, to me it's adapting to like, I forgot, but I'm going to keep going because I'm not going to give up. And I know the rest of the dance in like 16 counts, I've just forgotten the 16. So I'm going to make this up, but I can get back on the horse and I can keep going. Cracking under pressure is like irreparable damage.
I would say that'd be breaking. What Maddie did is breaking.
I feel like they're crack.
Whereas a small crack is just like a temporary
like breaking
slip
an
up.
egg and cracking an egg are very similar.
Well, the egg doesn't come out if you just crack the egg. You have to break the egg open.
I guess that's fair. I don't know. I think there's a big difference between a kid running off the stage and not finishing the dance and flubbing a little bit and continuing to go and picking it back up and finishing.
Agree. But I'm saying both are mistakes. A crack under pressure is making a mistake.
I think it's making a mistake.
That's all I'm saying.
I just don't think it's as huge of a deal as not finishing your dance. Let's see. The triple pirouettes are, someone mentions it in her dance, and Kathy's like, this is a thing that I want all of my dancers to know how to do. Girl, since when? Since when have you ever said that every one of your competition dancers has to know how to do triple pirouette? That's fucking crazy. Let's see.
Going into Jalen's solo, Rick looks so nervous.
I hate that Jalen doesn't have a shirt on. There is no reason for that child to not have a shirt on. There's no reason. Yeah. There's literally no reason. Yeah. It's very weird and I don't like it.
I actually watched these dances because I knew they weren't going to be great. The ALDC
Jalen
kids
really struggles.
Well, the ALDC kids, like you just know it's going to be.
You
good.
know when Chloe and Maddie step out.
You don't have to watch that. Come on. You don't have to watch it at all. But
It's
I
true.
knew that there was going to be a mistake, and there were specific points in the dances that I knew we were watching for, like this triple pirouette. It was like the first thing we saw, and Jalen only hit a double. He hit it pretty cleanly.
It looks so bad. It looks so bad because you're supposed to stop and prep, and they're supposed to be quick, and you're not supposed to put your foot down in between everyone.
Well, no, that was how it was taught to him, was doing the one reset, and then do the triple. That's how he rehearsed it several times in the week, too.
Well, it looks bad, and he's very clearly visibly struggling.
Well, that's how Anthony taught it to him, so that he did that part of the choreography correctly.
Sure.
And then only hit 2 and came out of it early because I don't think he had enough speed going into it. But it looked seamless.
He also... he also is like, you can tell he's focusing, and some judges like that and some judges hate that, so it just kind of depends. But part of the allure of like Maddie and Chloe is that they don't look like they're thinking about it, and they're just like free expression of movement.
Well, see, I again would actually disagree with that. Jalen was literally like mouthing the words of the song along with it.
Yeah.
He was like in it. He was like really like exaggerating his movements. He was all over the place. Then he does the 1 and then the 1 and then he goes for the 3 and only gets 2.
Yeah.
So like I thought overall like he had a lot of energy. I didn't watch the rest of it. I just saw that he messed up the pirouette. I skipped ahead.
Sure. Kathy and Anthony meet up with some of the parents, like after all the performances are so far, have finished, and they talk about someone is like going to get cut from the team and blah blah blah.
Mary in her talking head after Jalen's dance actually says Jalen dances with a lot of emotion. I think he has a chance of winning. Yeah. That's nice. Kids supporting kids.
Hadley has a massive headpiece that is going to be sewn into her like hair as it's supposed to be.
This thing was brought in from overseas in multiple shipping containers. This thing is so large. I
really felt so bad for her in this moment because she didn't practice with it.
Yeah,
which she should have, because it weighs a considerable amount. It will affect your speed and your accuracy if you don't rehearse with it.
It's so crazy to me that the kids will put on costumes for the first time in the green room before they actually perform.
That is not the way it works in real life.
Yeah, why would you not practice in the thing you're going to wear while you're actually performing? That's insane.
That's not how it works professionally. In my very limited professional theater experience, no, it's not even that. In an actual just regular run-of-the-mill rehearsal, if you have a sizable costume piece, you have something that is similar. You have a rehearsal skirt or a rehearsal headpiece, and it may not be the finished beautiful product, but it weighs the same or has the same volume so that when you're spinning, you can feel it. But like not having something and then being like, here it is, go perform for real is insane.
That's so wild.
And Hadley starts kind of freaking out a little bit. She's like crying a little. She's like understanding like, okay, this is kind of a struggle. I'm kind of having a hard time. And Kathy says, "Are you crying?" Which she visibly is.
Yeah,
Hadley
obviously
shakes her head like, "No, I'm not." And then her mom says, "No, she's fine."
Oh, she's fine. Then in her talking head, Yvette says, yeah, she's freaking out.
She looks like she's having a panic attack.
Yeah.
She's like she can't like control her breathing. It looks really bad. Then we go to a commercial.
Yeah, Yvette before that says, "You need to borrow my strength."
I hate that. Let me make my child struggle about me is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And she says it in her talking head. We don't see her say it to Hadley. We see that she claims to have said that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, just so you guys know, I said something really baller to my kid to get them to calm down. Actually, no, you didn't, first of all. Second of all, we didn't see it.
Yeah, then why isn't that being mentioned?
And also, borrow some of my strength is a crazy thing to say when you're trying to empower your child. Be like me.
Yeah, look how strong I am. Do this.
Girl, look inward. That shit's crazy. Back from commercial, we're doing the duet performance. Hadley still has the headpiece on. She's like, they're going to do it anyway.
She looks
this
fine.
Is like this is the tribal affair nonsense with Nikki. This is the greatest example of a term I heard a black woman on TikTok use that I'm going to borrow for a second. White people whiting. These are white people and they are whiting. This is the greatest evidence of whiting. Where they've just like slapped together some non-distinct animal print. They've just drawn lines on their faces and they're playing music with drums. Yeah. And they're like, this is tribal.
Also, the music sucks.
White people whiting.
Yeah.
That's what this is. Not a fan of this for a lot of reasons. After it's over, thank fuck, we're back in the green room. Everyone's like, oh my God, it was so good, blah, 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 whatever. The headpiece didn't fall off. She didn't seem to be that affected by it during the performance.
Yeah.
Whatever, she girl bossed her way through it, and now it's time to get ready for the group.
During the performance, right at the end, the audience was clapping along, but they were so off.
I was wondering if you were going to mention that. I thought you had skipped through it.
Bro, well, I skipped a little bit.
It's like crazy.
I saw that her headpiece stayed, she like threw her head forward and back. The headpiece stayed on. Great. Yeah. Skip ahead.
It's like so
Got to 5 seconds before the end of the dance. The audience is clapping along
They're
terribly.
clapping. They start on the 2s and 4s like you're supposed to, and then they switch over to the 1s and 3s.
Well, then they're on like upbeats, and they're at a different speed, which is, like they just kind of.
It's bad.
Oh my God.
But the kids don't notice it or don't hear it. They keep going, which is great. Okay, we see again, Abby's All the Dance competition, the finale.
Well, she calls it the finale.
The finale.
Did you hear that? She's like, it's the finale.
I hate when people do that. It's like when people call something the reprise. It's like, you just say reprise like everybody else. Or reprise. Like, just say it like normal.
No, people try and make things sound fancier, like schedule instead of schedule.
So fucking stupid.
Yeah, calm down.
It's like, or bona fide, because technically it's Latin, and that's how you would say it. Just say bona fide, like an actual person. It's fucking stupid. It is worth noting Abby's bestie from Flashdance, the MILF, she's there.
Who?
With the hair, and she's like, she was wearing that leotard, and she's like kind of tan. She's like one of the judges on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she's sitting at the judges table with Abby watching this performance. I was like, oh my god,
Oh, she was hot.
The Flashdance MILF is here. Abby or Maddie Slays.
MILF.
I mean, I don't remember her name.
She should put that on her resume.
I mean, she's both of those things. She was in Flashdance, and she is a MILF. So.
Oh my god, what was her name?
I literally don't remember, and I feel kind of like a shitbag, but I don't remember.
She was great.
She was great. I think we've said this before. It would be a much bigger flex if Abby had more than one Maddie style student, but whatever. She's
she
lauded.
She has two.
Yeah, that's true. That is actually true. But she's like, Abby or Maddie's my like perfect angel, whatever. She then at a certain point does talk about Kathy, does say her name again.
Yeah,
like that didn't last very long.
She's like, this is just proof that Kathy is not in my league. Even though this episode has literally nothing to do with them interacting. You gotta force a line or two to keep the rivalry alive, which I think should be called the Alivalry.
Oh yeah.
Nailed it.
The Alivalry. Yeah, that's fair. We're back at the competition. We see Malik So Chic with the kids in these heinous costumes. They are so butt ugly, and it's giving back of the costume closet, painting shit all over their face. They look fucking insane.
You used the term
terrible.
butt ugly. When I was a young kid, I thought the term was bug ugly. Like
ugly.
Like someone was as ugly as a bug.
Yeah, bug ugly.
That's how dumb I was.
Was bug ugly.
Damn.
Malik So Chic like talks to the kids and then like pieces out and leaves.
Yeah, it said...
oh, my God.
Oh, Anthony, well, he brings in Malik and says, here's some more fabulosity.
Slay.
And then reads the whole resume of Malik. And yeah. Then Yvette in her talking head says, I'm attracted to Malik. He's so confident.
Yeah. I'm like, Yvette, what are we doing?
She spent all of last episode kind of hitting on Anthony. Like, wow, his choreography. Wow, he's so impressive. Oh, my gosh. And now she's hitting on Malik.
Like, okay. Also,
Yvette,
not to make any assumptions, but I don't know if Malik So Chic would be interested in you, girl. I don't think you might be barking up the wrong tree, girl.
Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, that individual could fully want to have sex with women. We'll never know. Malik So Chic. Not making any assumptions. Not making any assumptions. The group performance is going on. God damn, these costumes look so fucking ugly.
I will say, Malik was up on his feet dancing in the audience.
Oh, yeah. Turning
digging
it out. Yeah, loving it. I understand that the club kid thing like is very much a vibe. That is not what's being done here.
Dude, I don't know what was going on. I watched this dance just because I was curious, and my God, Jalen is wearing a tutu, which actually is kind of a slay, but like everything about it looks insane. Everything about the dance, I mean, looks absolutely insane.
I think they're in the same spirit of like trying to do parallel stuff to Abbey Lee Dance Company stuff. I think they're trying to copy the Shangela episode. Oh. Where they brought Laquifa, where they brought her in. I think they're trying to just copy and paste queer icon status onto this group of people. It doesn't work.
No.
But at the time, Shangela was not Shangela. She was Laquifa.
Right.
We had no idea how big she was going to get. She's insanely famous in that sphere. Malik So Chic is not... Excuse me, at the same level as Shangela.
Yeah,
but
it's giving like, we have Shangela at home.
Yeah, the Shangela at home is Malik So Chic. Yeah, kind of. There is, to your point, there is a moment where the kids are walking off and Nikki like puts a hand up and like snaps and walks off. And I like teared up a little bit. And
Nikki was born for that.
Yes, absolutely. Like exactly what you were saying. Like this doesn't make your kids gay, But if you have a child who is looking into option C because option A and option B is not working and they need an alternative way to exist, the performing arts are an excellent avenue for that self-discovery.
Agreed. Also, I love that Nikki did the in-character snap walking off. It was very much the same as Chloe doing the rocker tongue out thing.
Absolutely, fucking period.
Except she got yelled at for several minutes about that, doing a thing that was awesome.
And she also won, P.S. She won first place that week. But
that's a good point.
Yeah, whatever. Lennon and Nikki really, really seem to be feeling themselves like during all of this, and it is very sweet. Like,
they're coming into their own for sure.
Yes, and just to see a minute, because like I can't imagine what it's like to be a kid with that kind of turmoil.
I have no idea.
Sexual orientation or gender identity, like turmoil. I cannot imagine what that must feel like. But to have just a minute to forget about it and to just like, well, I'm being a character.
Yes.
I'm doing something fun, whatever. Drag is so many things to so many people, but a lot of what drag is stepping into a character.
Yep.
And releasing, like, you know, Natasha Bedingfield released your inhibitions and feeling the rain on your skin, bitch. Like, it is really very that. And
song.
Just, like, taking a break from whatever's going on in your life. And drag, I'm not going to get into this history of drag because I'm for sure not the authority on it. But a lot of drag is spirited rebellion.
Ooh.
And it's especially ballroom culture and these dance competitions, specifically with like predominantly gay men in those audiences and trans women in those audiences who may or may not have been living with HIV and AIDS. Taking a minute in the midst of those crises is when drag and ballroom dance really took off. And they're there because it is an effort of, despite what's going on, I'm going to fucking turn it out. And
Sure.
I'm going to look beautiful. And I'm going to have a competition with my friends, collect money, do all these things in order to forget about potentially a life-threatening illness, legislation that's being passed, people who are being deported because of their homosexual status, whatever. Drag is an escape from all of that. And even if the issues look different, it continues to be an escape.
Yep.
So it's lovely to see even just little kids who we know turn into people who fully express their queer identities have just like a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
And like do their thing. This is my timer to restart the camera. Stop. Okay, hang on. At least I set a timer this time. Be grateful.
I'm very grateful.
Fuck you. That's on almost every single pre-event playlist that we have because it's a allegedly corporate-friendly song. It fully is not, but whatever. Okay.
Just tell them to play Cake by the Ocean instead.
I can't talk about Joe Jonas or I'm going to freak out. Joe Jonas is so attractive. I love Joe Jonas. I saw a TikTok that was like, if you're ever upset about a man, just think about how stupid he would look standing next to Joe Jonas. Real.
How tall is Joe Jonas? We've done this before.
I don't know, actually.
Hey Siri, how tall is Joe Jonas?
It doesn't matter.
5'7"?
Doesn't matter. I legitimately...
I would not look silly standing next to Joe Jonas.
Yes, you would.
I'm like half a foot taller.
You don't have any tattoos or curly hair.
I'm half a foot taller than him.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's like, I can't talk about it. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
He has a better hairline, but I'm tremendous compared to him.
Like, I'm going to get a little real. I'm controversial yet brave opinions here on the Pyramid Podcast with Amanda.
Here we go.
I am a feminist.
However, I know there's a however.
And there are certain individuals, men, in this world that I would allow to interact with me in a way that is concerning to feminism.
That would be disrespectful.
They are in the areas specifically of both yearning and pining after men who could do certain activities with me and to me that I should probably have my feminism status reevaluated and potentially revoked. And one of those men, a lot of those men, are all Joe Jonas. Sometimes maybe it's Justin Bieber a little. I know he's very problematic. I'm so sorry. And at one point, one of them was Jake Paul. Not anymore because he's a boxer and he is on steroids and he's fucking yacked out of his mind now. And he has a tattoo of an AR-15 on his leg.
Oh,
so
Jesus Christ.
No longer Jake Paul.
He's about to fight Mike Tyson. Do you know that?
Yes.
That's insane.
Joe Jonas, Justin Bieber, and Charlie Puth. That's when we start to get like, Amanda, Feminism, you say? That's not what we're doing here. We're not doing women's empowerment here.
Well,
it's those three.
If it's any better, those are not like traditionally like masculine men. So
you know what?
That.
Yeah, I would let a soy boy do freak shit with me, so I'm still a feminist.
There you go.
Fuck yeah.
Soy boy.
It's so stupid. Okay, anyway, it is awards time. The duet, this tribal nonsense, wins first. Unfortunate that we awarded cultural appropriation, but it's the adults that are at fault, not the children.
I mean, Gina, who is Lennon's mom, makes a comment about Hadley, who is a part of the duet, says that Hadley is on the A team, quote unquote. She is therefore nervous for Lennon because they aren't currently on the A team.
Yeah.
Meaning like they're not the current favorite, although Lennon is in absolutely no danger of being cut from the team. This is just a nonsense
This
comment.
is just nothing, yeah. Jalen gets 9th and Mary gets 8th.
They started listing off the solo awards, like they started filming in the show at 10, and I was like, oh boy.
Yikes.
That means we're
not
low.
good, yeah. Kathy says she's not happy with the placement and says that they should have worked harder. Okay, great.
Which is such an Abby comment, honestly.
Yeah, it's so nondescript nothing. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I will say that the two of them were separated by fewer than 2 points, which nothing was decided by the judges.
No. The group number gets 2nd place, and Kathy's like not super bummed about it. And I think like Kathy's not mad. She's like, this was great. We had a great week. Again, too normal to be entertaining.
Well,
she should be shitting and pissing out of her eyes with rage.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is like this is what it's like to watch another dance company that's not LDC, because they just usually sweep everything. And now it's like, okay, we got a 2nd place, a 1st, an 8, and a 9. Like, okay, that's stock.
Okay, great. Yeah.
That's average.
They're top 10. That's amazing for everyone who's not Abby.
Well, you don't know how many there were.
Even if there were 11, they were still top 10.
Okay.
That's still true. Even if there were 10, they were all the top 10.
It
did look like a pretty small competition.
Yes, it did. I made the comment that the group got 2nd. Is this what it's like to not watch the LDC? Candy Apple, what a bunch of losers.
Yeah, what a bunch of idiots. Kathy says in her talking head that there's not a clear-cut winner between Jalen and Mary, like who's going to stay and who's going to go.
She was hoping that like the judges could provide some clarity, and they were back
and they
back.
Didn't. And so she's like, maybe it's Anthony's fault. I'm
yeah.
Like, okay, great.
She just needs someone to blame.
Yeah, and she says to Anthony that he needs to do some soul searching, and it may not be like maybe the money that she's using to pay him could go towards a new Louis bag.
Designer bag.
And so she's like, is Anthony worth more than a Louis? Probably not. I'm like, period. No man is worth more than a Louis.
And that's even though the duet got 1st and the group got 2nd. So like his choreo was fine. I just think that like Jalen.
Sound that you're making, Liza?
Liza's fucking something up. I don't know.
Never mind. It's a spring.
It's
one of her toys. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, even though like the group and duet did well, your literal 2 weakest performers did solos. Performos. That's funny.
Performos. Yeah.
And they didn't do well. Like that should not be a surprise to you. But the group and the duet still did well. That's still Anthony's choreo. It still did great. What are you talking about?
Whatever.
Just forcing drama.
And that's it. That's the end of this app.
Kathy says that Anthony has to control herself or else no one will respect her.
Wait, Anthony has to control.
Anthony has to control himself. Okay. In front of the kids, or no one will respect her, Kathy,
Gotcha.
for hiring him.
Slay. Well, I guess that's it.
That's an episode.
Do you have a song?
There was some, it's Lights by Ellie Goulding. A classic.
Great song.
The EDM, like Bass Nectar remix is good, but I'm talking about just the OG. It's a delightful little song.
Great
Ellie
song.
Goulding. Shout out Bestie Patrick, who he and Leah will be in town in a couple of weekends for our birthdays. But he said that they got to go see Ellie Goulding live, and it was just amazing.
Oh, I'm sure.
They said she was phenomenal.
I'm absolutely sure. Oh, Liza's got her eyes on the back of the couch. Is she gonna jump?
Hell yeah, brother.
My song of the week, I'm changing it in light of our conversation about drag. I'm changing it to a song called Heated by Beyonce. It is a song that's it's in her Renaissance album, which is a very gay album, and it's awesome. And there is a blurb in that in like the vocalizing that she does, where she says, first of all, that's the song that I referenced last week where she says it's a whole lot of playing victim and the villain at the same time. Great bar. Also, she has a little bit in there where she says, Uncle Johnny made my dress. And she had an uncle who was gay, who died of AIDS, I believe, who used to sew clothes for her when she like started in Destiny's Child and was starting to become a performer. And there's a moment in the Renaissance movie that just came out a couple months ago where she puts on one of the original dresses that Uncle Johnny made for her. And she shows it to Jay-Z, her husband. And he's like,
Jay.
Yeah, she's like, I need to call Jay. And she has the phone out or whatever. And he's like, holy shit. He's like, that's one of Johnny's dresses. And she's like, yeah. And she's like a little picture of him on her like vanity. And like she and her mom were talking about him because he wasn't anyone's like biological relative. He was just kind of like adopted into their family as an adult,
kind of. I know so many people like that.
And so it's a great song. That whole album is like impossibly good. And it's just like a wink and a nod to like this like queer person who showed me option C had such a tremendous impact on the creation of the career of Beyonce. She is queer coded and openly like, yeah, actually gay people made me famous. Basically. It's awesome.
That is dope. I wonder if for Halloween one year she could dress up as Beyonce.
She does become a bee in the Renaissance tour.
Oh, that's
she has a
great.
song that's called Pure Honey.
Well, because she's Queen Bee.
She is Queen Bee, duh. I'm going to play it, just a little bit of it for you after we are done recording because I can't do it now because we put shit on YouTube. But
oh yeah, go watch our YouTube.
Go watch our YouTube channel. There's a song called Pure Honey that's about that, and in that the costume she's wearing during that song is like this metal futuristic bee, and she has these little like bug-eye things and these antennas, and she looks so hot as a bug. Bug beautiful, not bug ugly. Anyway, you don't know this yet. I'm going to have to announce this live in front of our studio audience. We are not doing an episode next week because I am leaving on Friday and I will not return until next Friday.
Damn.
So shit's going to be BANANAS in the words of Gwen Stefani. So no episode next week. Also, there's 2 filler episodes on like in Serial that are like Dance Moms Chatter 1, Dance Moms Chatter 2. We're not covering that bullshit. We've never covered recaps because it's all cooked and stupid. We're gonna come.
Same.
You are also cooked and stupid. Yeah, fair enough. We're going to come back in 2 weeks with the episode that's called Tap versus Hip Hop. That's where we're coming back. So no episode next week. When we do come back the week after, it will be an episode called Tap versus Hip Hop.
That'll be, by the way, my birthday weekend.
Oh my God.
Patrick and Leah will be in town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we got to find another time to record. Yeah,
we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen for sure. Like Patrick and Leah take precedent because they're never here anymore. I was literally this is so fucking stupid. I was literally working the last time I saw Leah, I was working up the nerve to be like, I think you're really cool, we should be friends. And like the day that I was planning on saying that to her, she mentioned that she was moving. And I was like, I'm gonna kill myself actually. I was so upset.
You still
anyway can. No, I know, but like it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same quality of like female friendship if it's long distance.
You and Addison will be friends.
We better be friends. If we're not friends, I'm going to be so actually pissed. It will bother me in real life, actually. If we're not friends, I'll be like, that's really interesting. And then I'll like tweet her address or something.
She is the easiest.
Just kidding. I would never do that.
She is the easiest person to be friends with.
Slay. I love that. That's really good news for you, though, because you are really difficult to be friends with. So it's good.
As soon as you said that's really good news, I knew immediately what was about to happen.
Come on.
I was just like, just let it happen.
Dang, you can follow us on Instagram. We're at The Pyramid Pod. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at posting on Instagram when I don't have it on my phone, and I'm taking a break from it for my mental health right now. And I'm sorry. I post whenever I feel like it, and I'm sorry. But you can still follow us for whenever it's not bad for my mental health when I do start posting again. My personal Instagram is @notamandab_. What is your Instagram?
@Eli_farmer_.
Slay.
You may follow me there.
I also have a personal TikTok that some of you have found and are following me on, and that's great. It is at nerd.alert723. I made it when I was teaching, and I had to make it something that was a little difficult for my students to find. So it's at nerd.alert723. I'm very funny on TikTok. Come follow me. Come hang out.
Follow the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, share,
leave a comment, send an email,
bookmark
blah, blah,
it,
blah.
click the bell for alerts.
Yeah, fucking consensually smash that like and subscribe
Show
button.
it to your parents.
Yes.
Send it to everyone in your contact list.
Yeah.
Kidnap your friends and make them watch the episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe not that last one.
Maybe not that, but
maybe.
Maybe kidnap your friends, maybe. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.